Welcome to the Awakening Women Show. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, a former counselor with a background in counseling psychology. I'm a mentor for high-achieving, ambitious women with over 13 years in the mental health and empowerment space. I've guided hundreds of women and have influenced over 100,000 through my platforms, podcast, and other courses, programs, and mentorship. I'm also the creator of the Relationship Clarity program, formerly known as End the Cycle, which you will hear me mention a lot of times as we go through the episodes. This program is to help women break free from destructive relationship cycles and come to clarity and power about their next step. This show is for the woman who knows her relationship struggles go deeper than the usual conflict. You know there's something more going on, but you can't quite nail it down or pinpoint what that is. You'll find clarity here, empowerment, truth, and validation. Clarity on whether your relationship can be healed or whether it's time to reclaim your life and move forward. What started as me sharing my own experiences quickly became a movement because the truth is, so many ambitious, successful women are stuck in confusing and draining relationship dynamics while trying to rise in every other area of their life, career, motherhood. This is you, you're not alone, and you don't have to keep living this way. Inside this podcast, you'll hear some of my most downloaded episodes, plus fresh content designed to help you break patterns, reclaim your wholeness, and decide once and for all if this relationship is where you belong. I'm so glad you found this space. Let's dive in. Welcome to this edition of the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, and in this episode, we're talking about 10 ways that high-value, high-functioning women keep themselves trapped in the same cycles in their relationships. But before we dive into that, I want to point you toward a couple of announcements and a couple of things I'm really excited about. As behind the scenes of Awakening Women, I've been restructuring my offerings, my spaces, bringing in some new spring energy coming into this new season. As behind the scenes, I have been reworking how it is that I can serve more women while not actually needing to be in a bunch of different places. And obviously, I can only serve so many clients one-on-one, and I don't do a lot of one-on-one anymore. So behind the scenes, I have been working with mentors and restructuring exactly how I want to move forward in this season of Awakening Women. So a couple of things. First of all, I have 3 spaces. So my main space, if you will, my main container with mentorship, access to me, coaching, guidance, all of it, the full transformation is inside of the Self-Mastery Inner Circle. This is my new space for high-level women who are either entrepreneurial or career women, and you are wanting a new level of success, self-leadership, operating from a new identity. And we're working on all phases of identity formation on the other side of divorce, on the other side of experiencing a lot of toxicity and traumas. And we're not focusing on traumas over there, but we're focused on becoming whole. We are not there to vent about men and what they've done and what they're not doing. That's what the space is all about, moving into a new identity. So the woman who is operating from this new powerful identity, she's no longer living in the past and allowing it to dictate her future. And so over there, I am creating a whole new framework on how we rebuild our identity on the other side of these unhealthy patterns of self-betrayal in relationships, and perhaps relationships even before the one that you've just left. So that is the first thing. I'm right now accepting women in, but it is going to be specific women that will be coming through it. You have to be in a place where you're ready to move. You have to be in a place where you're ready for change and to rebuild your life and have the capacity to be able to actually do the work and lead yourself through the work, because I can mentor, but I cannot handhold. So it's for the woman who's quite driven as it is, and she just wants the plan, the map, the guidance, the high-level support, and those high-level touch points. The second, if you are in the relationship still and you are tired of the same patterns, the same conversations, the same things happening over and over again, while he promises he's going to change and it doesn't actually lead to change. You're tired of having to talk about the same things and tell him what he did again. How many times have you done that? And you're ready to actually get clarity and figure out, is this something that I can actually change? Is this something I can influence? How do I better myself within this? Even if I'm not ready to make a decision yet, how do I start doing the things I need to do for me so that I may make a clear and conscious decision about my relationship through my own personal process? And that has been the body of work I've been doing for 6 years inside of Awakening Women. And I'm no longer offering coaching or mentorship on that end directly. However, I've created 2 tiers of a membership where you can come in and do the foundations level, or you can do the full immersion where you get the access to my entire methodology and framework, the relationship clarity method. You study that on your own, and you also get access to a broadcast channel in Telegram where you get archives of over 100 audio drops that I've done in there that help women navigate what they're experiencing. They're quick things you can listen to shift based on what it is you're looking for. If you're looking for something on triggers or how to handle this, that, or the other situation, it's very likely already been covered in there. And I will be doing periodic ones in there, adding to it over time. But this is a really high value experience when you go in there and you can press play on a quick audio hit that is just a quick shift audio that you can apply and integrate now. It's all been created so that you can take it and apply it, and you create those shifts. So check out both levels. You can head to the show notes of this podcast to see which level makes the most sense for you, where you're ready. But I just wanted to plant those seeds that those are the 3 structured areas where I'm working with women right now. As I said, I'm not doing a whole lot of one-on-one clients right now. So those are the 3 ways that you can work with me and really break this pattern for good. Okay, so here are the 10 most common things that I see with women. And these are high-level, smart, talented women, career women, entrepreneurial women. They are high earning, they're high functioning, and they're ambitious. They're the type of women that come in and will go through the programming and finish it 100%. They're the ones that will be worried they missed something, or they'll want to check all the boxes. And they will have an issue with slowing down and feeling like they're behind if they're slowing down, or it's uncomfortable to actually slow down and be present in their body. And when you have experienced trauma and a lot of chaos, it is very uncomfortable to start doing that, but this is the work that we need to do. And so the first way that I notice that women get trapped is that they are emotionally impacted for too long by the things that they cannot control, although they try. So it could be just one text, one conversation, or one interaction, and then your mood is derailed. Your focus for the day or days is off the charts. And you find that you're recovering very slowly, emotionally, even physically, after things that happen. So this really impacts your health. It could equate to a flare in health symptoms. If you have health conditions or things that are coming up, it could result in a flare of health issues. It impacts your productivity at work or in your business, your ability to show up with clarity around what it is you need to be doing. When you have your energy scattered all over in a million different places, you will feel like your whole life is scattered because your energy is being wasted. You're misusing it. And as warrior women, we must conserve our energy. We are intuitive. We pick up on things. We are deep feelers. We're deep feeling women. And if we're not careful with our energy and we just have it scattered all over the place, we will find we feel drained. We feel like, where did my memory go? Where did my focus go? This is especially true for perimenopausal years, is we have to be very discerning and very responsible with our energy. And so if you find that you're impacted for a full day or more by something someone says or something he does or something that happens at work. Wherever you are, whatever it is, you probably have something in your mind right now. So we have to be able to get to a place where we can shift these things. And I don't mean bypassing it and pretending it's not happening or go shove cookies in your mouth or drink some wine or just work to avoid. No, we want to actually shift it so that the emotional energy can move through instead of running you and taking over. This is self-mastery. This is creating emotional stability from within, not needing to outsource it based on what other people are doing, because you cannot control the external. Number 2, she knows better but still tolerates what violates her standards. And she may not think she has standards, but the thing is, we all do, but often we just kind of go, I guess that's probably expecting too much, or I guess that's not really that important, or, well, what am I going to do? He's not respecting them. They're not respecting them. And so we give our power away. So the problem is that you might be aware and you might see things you know are unhealthy. You see them cognitively, but then under emotional pressure or when you're having to face an actual big change in order to break the pattern or to draw that boundary with actual consequences, you backslide, you compromise, you tell yourself, it's probably not that bad. I'm just going to stick around. He's not yelling, or, he promises he's not cheating anymore, even though he has been. You compromise with yourself and you betray yourself every time. That self-betrayal hurts way more than anything he could ever do, because we have to have our own back above all else. So important that we are women that have this integrity within ourselves, that we know what our standards are, we know how we expect to be treated, and we will not tolerate anything less. So we have to become women that have zero tolerance for disrespect and people violating our standards, whoever they are, in relationships, at work, family, friends. Number 3 is she is way overinvested in other people's behavior. This is a very big one. Her attention is almost always, when I'm coaching them or mentoring them, their focus is always mostly externally focused. It's what he's doing, thinking, feeling, or deciding. Typically, it's a man. Her life energy leaks outward instead of building that inward anchoring, that inward stability, that inward mastery. And what women often find, though, is that they come in to do the relational work because that's kind of the front and center. And it is very important because the relationship you're in impacts every single area of your life, good or bad. Intimate relationships are a huge decision. And the downfall of most amazing women is the man they're with. So big deal. So I should also mention their money and their health and all mental health, physical health, hormones, everything. Their uterus, like it's everything. We really just downplay the actual impact of these relationships. She is very much in a place where she is not centered within herself. She is in a place where she is realizing that, oh my gosh, this is actually showing up here and here and here, because they start to put the dots together, because that's what I teach, root cause. And then we have the thread that runs through. We have that golden thread that is, oh, this actually isn't just here. And this is why I say it's actually not about him. You think it's about him, but it's actually very little to do with him. So when your attention is constantly externally focused on him, then you never have stability. You're always sourcing outward. How do I feel better? How do I self-soothe? How do I soothe? I need to get that from him or something external. What needs to happen here is that we need to be learning to retrain ourselves to bring it back to self-sourced. This is the emotional center that lives in our body. It's always there. It's never based on someone else's actions, even though that's how it feels. And so where we want to get to is where you are no longer emotionally reacting and you're leading yourself. Number 4 is that she overprocesses instead of deciding. So this comes out in years and years of therapy, going in, talking about the same problems. I want to remind you, I'm a former counselor, practiced for 6 years. And what we are trained to do is it's the business of validating, right? You want to feel seen. You want to feel heard. You want someone to hold that space for you. And it can feel really good in the beginning if you've just never had that. But there is a point to where that can only get you so far, because we can only do so much talking about it. We can only have so many sessions of being validated. And how did that make you feel? As I said, that is good for the beginner, or if you've got true traumatic stuff you've never processed in a safe space. Yes, go to a good therapist, someone that understands trauma, that will be able to hold space for you in that. But they are not all created equal. I've been to many, 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 many over the years, and you just never know what you're going to get, but you want someone that knows their shit, has experience, is embodying the work that they teach. They know what they're doing, and they have a good track record. You want to have all of that in place. And then the other thing is to make sure that they know how to lead you through trauma. Now, the next piece to really think about here is that what we need to do is move from understanding we need to move from thinking, overanalyzing, the journaling, the talking, all the reflecting and the processing, because that becomes an emotional addiction in its own. And then it helps you avoid making decisions. This insight gathering becomes a holding pattern. You're constantly just processing, looking for insights, looking for why. It takes you out of your body, and you're just into doing. But it's not the kind of doing that's moving anything forward. If it was, you would already be there. We need to be able to trust our own bodily knowing, and then make those clean decisions with discernment instead of over-explaining. Number 5, she confuses feeling deeply with being taken off course, because she believes that strength means being unaffected. Strength means tolerating, toughening up, grinning and bearing it, clenching, getting that suit of armor and being able to just take it like a man, or take one for the team. When the emotions really do hit, she doubts herself or tries to suppress them, or she has coping and numbing mechanisms. And then it can lead to that downward spiral. And this can be very problematic, again, because you're always on this roller coaster, and this starts to impact your health. Again, so much more when we are in our 40s and beyond, because we're moving into tumultuous hormonal transitions, and we need our mental and emotional shit dealt with. You can't go into those years with insane levels of emotional stress. Ask me how I know. We need to be able to learn how to shut out all the noise of all the bullshit and everything going on, and tend to that part of ourselves that has to be in balance, because it literally is, it's our life expectancy. The amount of stress that we experience, especially as we're moving into this perimenopausal, menopausal phase of life, so important. I'm not going to go in depth because I'm not a doctor, but believe me, I read and learn everything I absolutely can, and I always have, on women's holistic health and how it's all connected. And you really have to take this seriously, especially if you're having symptoms and you're seeing things going wrong and you're in this emotional roller coaster, whether you're in the relationship or you're out of it and you're still caught in it. You have to master that if you want to be healthy and actually be able to feel like you're in charge of your own life. Number 6, she has deep integrity leaks that slowly erode her self-trust, because she keeps telling herself things like, oh, it's fine right now, or it's not so bad, to the point where she no longer trusts herself to protect her own needs and standards. So it's kind of like this slow leak of integrity. I'll let this slide this time. Oh, at least he's not yelling this time. Oh, he's stopped cheating. He's not gambling the money anymore. Or it could be, I've heard the one a lot, like he's not raging, or he's not yelling, or he's not being outright, abusive or anything like that. Or she can just compromise with herself in the way of, well, it's actually getting better. Things are getting better. And we can do this with ourselves too. Like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm actually doing okay. Things are really good. And when we're not truthful with ourselves, it shows up in the body. That misalignment will always show up somewhere in our body. Number 7 is she keeps hoping things will change instead of choosing what is. The problem with this is that hope can keep you attached to the potential of, maybe he could do this, or I wish he could do that. If only he did this, that, and the other, he'd be great. If only this, he's a wonderful father, but he's an absolute asshole to me. By the way, if you're with someone who cheats, manipulates, has narcissistic traits, treats you like shit, and then you tell yourself, oh, he's a loving father, here is what you need to know. A true loving father would not be mistreating his children's mother, because it is so awful for the children to witness that. A man that truly loves his children would be demonstrating how to respect their mother and to love their mother. So please don't lie to yourself that you have a man here that's actually a stand-up father of integrity. Because I will tell you, the moment you exit that situation, that changes really quickly. And so we're a lot of times in delusion because we don't want to face what change actually means. It means my child won't have a father at home. I've got to do it on my own. My kids have these issues or these disabilities or autism. They're on the spectrum. They're special needs. I have issues. I have health issues. Whatever it might be, what it actually involves breaking up the family and taking those steps can be too terrifying. So we go back into complacency, denial, and delusion. And that's fine. That's a choice. You can make the choice to stay hoping it's all really changing and that this time he's actually really going to be a good person. But what's happening is you're just losing time. You're losing time and you're losing mental sharpness. And it's going to start showing up in your body as you move into your midlife, if you're not already there. This is kind of a side thing. And we just have to realize when we're in midlife that we have to take everything much more seriously. The stress that we allow in our lives. We need to have peace. It's so important. Because really in the end, if you don't have your health, what do you have? And when you've lost your health, then you really do value it, unfortunately. And when you've learned what happens when the stress becomes so bad, your hormones crash, and how bad it can actually be and how serious, this is why I'm really pushing this and I'm being very direct about this. And this is really a lot of what we're doing inside of the self-mastery inner circle for women once they get out the other side, because leaving is just the beginning. All right, number 8 is she's highly capable, but emotionally overextended. So she handles everything just fine because she really does. She holds everything together, but she doesn't allow herself to rest or have pleasure or just enjoy her life right now because she's never able to just unwind and be. This is a really big one. And again, it's the reason why our hormones go haywire, a big reason, because we are just maxed out. And I'm not saying there isn't real world things that we have to deal with, especially on the other side of leaving and single motherhood and managing a mortgage and a car and a yard and our bodies and our house if things are breaking down and parenting, whatever it is. Yeah, those are all real things. But this is even more the reason why you really have to learn how to be there for yourself day in, day out. How do you make sure to stay in this space where you're able to make decisions and, to be quite honest, not put so much energy into the shit that doesn't actually matter in the long run in life. We put a lot of attention into the things that in the end, when we're at the end of our days, are we going to be glad we hung on to a relationship that made our entire lives miserable because we didn't want to leave the house we live in, or whatever the thing is that comes up, right? These things that come up that are the reason why we're paying with our life to stay in the comfort of discomfort. At the end of your life, you need to ask yourself, imagine what you're asking yourself is, Like, was it worth it? Am I glad how I handled this? And how do you want to spend the remainder of your life? Very important, deep questions. And number 9, she's afraid of becoming hardened or closed off because she worries that if she chooses herself, it will be mean that she's the cold, mean, bitchy one, or what people will think. She worries about what everyone else is going to think if she cuts things off or she leaves or walks away. She thinks she's being less loving or she's given up somehow, and she holds the emotional responsibility for the entire relationship. So she also holds responsibility for its collapse when it finally comes to an end. She can't do it anymore. She takes full responsibility for holding it. She takes full responsibility when she has to walk away. That's not the way that it goes, but often that's where these high achieving traits come in, and they can be our fault if we're not careful. And then number 10 is she's ready for the next level, but she keeps repeating the same pattern. So you can say, I'm ready to figure this out. I'm ready to stop this. Oh my God, I just had another one of those damn fights last night. I woke up with an emotional hangover. I'm so done with this. I'm so done with this conversation. I'm done with the same shit. I'm done with the same things that keep coming up. I have to keep telling him over and over, and I'm exhausted. Whatever that moment is. But then something happens and you betray yourself again. You backslide. And so when you are living in that is just a deep sense of misalignment with who you are and who you know you're meant to be, because that repetition is exhausting. We need a new kind of repetition. This is how you break the pattern. You need a new kind of repetition. And so when you're ready to actually make those changes, then come into one of my spaces. Take a step today to break the pattern. You're the only one that's going to be able to do that. Fully your responsibility. It's no one else's. He is not responsible for your empowerment, for your choice, for your integrity, your standards, your boundaries. That's on you. And only you get to decide when enough is enough and when it's time for you to move forward. Whether you're still grappling with the relationship and you need the clarity process, then that's where you go. But if you have left and you're still finding yourself intertwined, caught up in the drama, caught up in the nonsense of it, then get yourself into the self-mastery inner circle, because that's where we're doing that really deep identity level work that is actually harder to do when you're still in it. So that's why that's a different level of the inner work transformation that I believe really is only possible when you've stabilized out of that chaos. You have to be out of it. And where at least you're out of it is in the sense you don't live with him anymore. You've taken that step at least, because then you have the space and bandwidth to really do this work. Very important. And so the inner circle is not for you it's not for getting clarity about the relationship. It's about moving forward. So if you're in a place of wanting the clarity, then you need to get yourself into one of the 2 levels of the clarity membership. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Maybe some of these points have resonated with you. And if so, just know that the spaces that I have available to help you get clarity are going to help you shift these things, because you don't have to stay in this pattern. Even if you're not ready to make a decision yet, that doesn't mean you don't make a decision to break the pattern and start choosing you. And that's really what it comes down to. All right, I'll chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.